Okay, so we made this little folder for you, which contains everything you'll need, almost everything for the event tomorrow. And this is for you.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll run through this folder as we go through. We have until about an hour, until 11:30 to do our training. So by that time we should be able to get through everything in the folder.
Mm-hmm.
So Emily and I will take turns doing some of the activities. So to start off, we'd like you to watch this video. It's about a 10-minute. It's called a TED Talk. It's where these professionals come and speak in groups, and they save them online, and you can go back and watch. There's some great ones, but this one is called "Your Body Language Shapes Who You Are." So it's this wonderful, very empowered woman speaking on how you stand can demonstrate how you're coming off, and when you're standing straight up, you can be in this powerful pose, and it makes you feel more confident. So we're going to start about right here, and then at the end, I'm going to have a few questions for you. So, and during this whole time, you can stop us for questions.
Okay.
So just let us know. And do you want to see Emily?
Yeah.
So I'm picking it up about halfway through. She just kind of introduced
it. So what happens if you take a role change? What happens if you do that at a really minimal level, like this tiny manipulation, this tiny intervention? For 2 minutes, you say, "I want you to stand like this," and it's going to make you feel more powerful. So this is what we did. We decided to bring people into the lab and run a little experiment. And these people adopted for 2 minutes either high power poses or low power poses. And I'm just going to show you 5 of the poses, although they took on only 2. So here's one. Couple more. This one has been dubbed the Wonder Woman by the media. Here are a couple more. So you can be standing or you can be sitting. And here are the low power poses. So you're folding up, you're making yourself small. This one is very low power. When you're touching your neck, you're really kind of protecting yourself.
And a little bit of technical difficulties.
We'll get it together. I think I wrote it.
It's buffering.
But you understand the power poses.
This?
Yeah, these are
this. Oh, come on. Is it still recording even though it's... Alright, we'll just...
So,
there we go.
This is what happens. They come in, they spit into a vial. We, for 2 minutes, say, you need to do this or this. They don't look at pictures of the poses. We don't want to prime them with the concept of power. We want them to be feeling power, right? So 2 minutes they do this. We then ask them, how powerful do you feel on a series of items? And then we give them an opportunity to gamble. And then we take another saliva sample. That's it. That's the whole experiment. So this is what we find. Risk tolerance, which is the gambling. What we find is that when you're in the high power pose condition, 86% of you will gamble. When you're in the low power pose condition, only 60%. And that's a pretty whopping significant difference. Here's what we find on testosterone. From their baseline when they come in, high power people experience about a 20% increase. And low power people experience about a 10% decrease. So again, 2 minutes and you get these changes. Here's what you get on cortisol. High power people experience about a 25% decrease, and the low power people experience about a 15% increase. So 2 minutes lead to these hormonal changes that configure your brain to basically be either assertive, confident, and comfortable, or really stress reactive, and feeling sort of shut down. And we've all had that feeling, right? So it seems that our nonverbals do govern how we think and feel about ourselves. So it's not just others, but it's also ourselves. Also, our bodies change our minds. But the next question, of course, is, can power posing for a few minutes really change your life in meaningful ways? So this is in the lab, this little task, it's just a couple of minutes. Where can you actually apply this, which we cared about, of course. And so we think it's really what what matters and where you want to use this is evaluative situations, like social threat situations. Where are you being evaluated? Either by your friends, like for teenagers is at the lunchroom table. It could be, for some people it's speaking at a school board meeting. It might be giving a pitch or giving a talk like this or doing a job
at a buffet.
Yeah, I decided that the one that most people could relate to because most people had been through was the job interview. So we published these findings and the media are all over it. They say, okay, so this is what you do when you go in for the job interview, right? So we were, of course, horrified and said, oh my God, no, that's not what we meant at all for numerous reasons. No, don't do that. Again, this is not about you talking to other people. It's you talking to yourself. What do you do before you go into a job interview? You do this, right? You're sitting down. You're looking at your iPhone or your Android, not trying to leave anyone out. You're looking at your notes, you're hunching up, making yourself small, when really what you should be doing maybe is this, like in the bathroom, right? Do that, find 2 minutes. So that's what we want to test, okay? So we bring people into a lab, and they do either high or low power poses again. They go through a very stressful job interview. It's 5 minutes long. They are being recorded, they're being judged also, and the judges are trained to give no nonverbal feedback. So they look like this. Like imagine this is the person interviewing you. So for 5 minutes, nothing. And this is worse than being heckled. People hate this. It's what Marianne LaFrance calls standing in social quicksand. So this really spikes your cortisol. So this is the job interview we put them through because we really wanted to see what happened. We then have these coders look at these tapes, 4 of them. They're blind to the hypothesis. They're blind to the conditions. They have no idea who's been posing in what pose. And they end up looking at these sets of tapes and they say, oh, we want to hire these people, all the high power posers. We don't want to hire these people. We also evaluate these people much more positively overall. But what's driving it? It's not about the content of the speech. It's about the presence that they're bringing to the speech. We also, because we rate them on all these variables related to sort of competence, like how well structured is the speech, how good is it, what are their qualifications, no effect on those things. This is what's affected. These kinds of things. People are bringing their true selves, basically. They're bringing themselves. They bring their ideas, but as themselves, like with no, residue over them. So this is what's driving the effect or mediating the effect. So when I tell people about this, that our bodies change our minds and our minds can change our behavior and our behavior can change our outcomes, they say to me, it feels fake, right? So I said fake it till you make it. Like, it's not me. Like, I don't want to get there and then still feel like a fraud. I don't want to feel like an imposter. I don't want to get there only to feel like I'm not supposed to.
All right, we're going to pause it right there. Any questions right off the bat about anything she said?
I understand.
Yeah. Do you other words that you want us to go over with you at all? That you didn't, or parts that you didn't understand, like a definition?
Yeah, I understand. I don't know. Maybe the resume.
Got it. I like your phone.
My phone is low. I don't know. It's the overview.
Oh,
No.
do you want us?
No.
Oh,
No. Resume. Es como how
Speak in Spanish. I got you.
resumen.
Like, oh
No.
can you think of where did it come up in the video? Was there something she was doing?
Yeah, I understand. I understand the video.
Okay.
The video talk about your presence and
Presence, exactly.
yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do a few little testing things with it. So, show me your power pose while you're sitting. Whatever you feel comfortable with. We'll all do it too. Perfect. So, back straight, head up high. Do you feel powerful? And
Look
show me-
powerful.
What about what would a weak pose be?
um,
Do you remember how she said, your present comes off weak is when you're closed in. So if I had like my arms crossed, or if I was down in the chair huddled over,
yeah.
this is a very unconfident pose. But when we're up like this,
No.
this should be called the Superwoman pose. I feel confident. So let's see our Superwoman pose. Perfect. Excellent.
Come on, show me this room. I'll take a great picture of you. Oh, wow.
That's
making
the
me
That is the confidence we want to see. So, overall in this video, what I would like you to take from it is show me how you'll stand at the buffet. So you're standing off to the side, just making sure everything looks clean. How will you be standing?
There?
Power pose.
Okay.
Power pose. So during the night when I come in, I want to see you confident in this power pose.
Okay.
Not weak, closed off,
No.
but that is perfect.
Sassy. We want sassy.
Perfect. So the main thing I want you to take from this video is the presence we give off, our confidence, can be mental in our head. So when we're standing in this pose, our head feels confident, and in turn we come off as confident.
Okay.
So even if something in you is not feeling sure of something or confident, we'll feel it when we stand in that pose. Any questions?
No.
No, are you sure? You got the pose down?
Yeah. This pose? Oh.
That's
That's good. Bring your Cuba sass with that.
Woo. No, you'll be fine.
Alright, so now we're gonna dig into your folder. So,
We will dig.
sorry.
Dig.
Okay. Let's see. What should we start off with?
Well, at the
Do you want to do pictures first? Okay.
Okay, so we know you've seen these pictures because during the interview, they used some of these pictures, but we just wanted to see if you remember what they are.
Oh my god. In the test?
The interview for the buffet job.
In the test.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That. So we just wanted to test and see if you remembered
Yeah.
and then why something is a certain way.
Why?
Yeah. Why meaning if a buffet is dirty, why is it dirty? Can you point out places in the pictures?
In the interview, I needed to say what food is good, what food was good, or what food was not good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's good because it's
good?
clean.
It's clean. So we're focusing on the presentation of it. So if you can say one thing that looks good about each photo and one thing's bad, there may only be good, only bad.
This is good for it. Or for me. I think I like all food, but this is good for it.
What looks good about it?
Oh, how look?
How it looks?
Yeah,
Presentation.
yeah, good presentation. Clean is very important.
Very important.
I think if the food you look is not clean, the people don't like.
Exactly.
For me, it's good.
Good.
For me, it's good, but I don't know.
Oh,
It's
you got it.
confused.
Well, what makes it look good? I mean, looking at the food,
I think this not organized. I think because one food, other food, on I don't know how to say.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
I see
but
what
for
you're
me, it's
saying.
not organized. But in the plate, every plate is organized. But the food in the on the plate, no, it's good for
Perfect.
great.
me.
She's good.
Okay, we're gonna do the top one.
I think it's not good because the soup, not soup, the soup, fork,
Sauce.
no, this.
Oh, the spoon. It's okay.
The spoon inside, but it's not good. And this meat in the same plate. I don't know how to, I
Is
don't know
there
the name.
something from CFast you can think of
Yeah,
that would be violating what is
Yeah.
happening here?
Yeah, it's not good. I think it's not good. It's dirty. The food inside the plate.
It shouldn't be spilling out. It should be
Yeah.
confined and yes.
Yeah, and here
Okay.
in the it's not good because the fish, the beef
Mhm.
and the vegetable and all the food in the same very I don't know close
Yes.
and
Yeah.
it's not good.
Excellent.
Wow. So.
Excellent.
Oh wait, there's one.
One on the back.
Whoops.
I think it's not good too because the spoon in outside in the food. I guess.
Great. There's a couple more, and then we're gonna ask you some more questions. Yeah. This one.
I think I don't know if the spoon can in outside in the food. I don't know.
We have
Can
to.
or
This one, like, try and look at the presentation.
no, the presentation is good.
Is it clean?
Yeah, it's clean. I think it's clean.
Is it appetizing? Look tasty?
For me, all food, but it is good. I
Excellent.
think.
Perfect.
Great.
Alright.
Okay, two more.
Oh.
No. The top one's a little different.
I don't like. It's dairy.
Well,
It's dairy. I don't like this, but I like this.
What is the difference between the two? We're looking for something specific. What should you do with those foods when they look like that?
I don't like because it's dirty. The plate and the spoon is dirty.
Does it look appetizing?
No.
No. What would you do if the buffet looked like that?
What? Could you repeat the question?
What would you do with the trays of food when they looked like this? Can you think of an action you would take to fix it?
I think I don't like. I can eat this food.
mm-hmm.
So the one thing we're getting at with that photo is always remember if a tray is 50% or less filled with food, we want you to go to the back and refill it
Okay.
to look presentable, appetizing. So we agree with you.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. So we would go back, refill it, clean this all up.
Okay. When the buffet is I don't know.
Looks like this.
Look. You need change.
Yes.
Yes, we would change the food, bring it to the back of the house. They'll help you fill it.
Okay. The buffet is good here.
Yes, much
Can you see the difference? Like, the food is full. It's been changed and cleaned. Where the food is not looking good.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
And we just had one just kind of from this activity. Do you feel like you learned anything? Like, did you learn presentation and things you could use for the job?
Yeah. If I learn about the presentation, but and food safety. Yeah, I learn, but little. No, the presentation is.
But you understand between like clean and dirty and
Yeah.
full and
Yeah.
And while we're looking at photos, we're just gonna quickly touch on the buffet at the event tomorrow. So the caterer Darby, who you met in class on Monday, who came to talk to us, sent out these photos. what his buffets usually look like.
Mhm.
So you will be a part of the setup. We'll be getting there at 4:30. I think that's around when you arrive. And your duty will be helping set up this buffet, which will also put on the floor plan now. Like that. So these are the types of dishes and plates you will have. So we're gonna let you keep this photo in the folder. So just so you have an idea of what the buffet tomorrow will look like, it will be more like this compared to some of these.
Mhm.
So just looking at the picture, having plates at one end and then having lots of floral and decorations kind of in the middle to make it look nice. So it'll look something like that, but I'm guessing that he will be able to help and tell you guys where to go.
Okay. I have a question. How many different play tomorrow?
So next, and here's the menu for the buffet. So they are gonna have a vegetarian dipping display. So it'll have miso soup, edamame beans, garbanzo beans, hummus, spinach dip, pita bread, root chips, which they had in, so like that, some carrots, celery. So that is about what it will consist of. So pretty basic. Do you know what most of this food is? Any questions on that?
Wow. I don't know.
You don't know what it is? Well, I can quickly go over it. So the dipping sauce, I don't know what that is exactly. I mean, it's just a sauce. But vegetarian dipping, so there will only be vegetables there. So
Only vegetable?
in this one, yeah.
Okay.
And then, oh no, that's the whole buffet service. Never mind. So it's all gonna be vegetables that people will come. They'll have a plate. They'll just put some sauce on, take what vegetables they want, and then they will leave.
Okay. But I need know the menu. I need
Just this.
just that.
And then you'll also have to attend to the water station and the coffee.
Which you will be set up. So this is the venue. This is the main entrance. Your buffet is going to be right in the middle here. And then the dessert and coffee station is in this corner. So between the night, you'll be jumping between these two stations.
Okay. Here I need.
Yes.
And they'll show you where it is when you get there. So don't be too concerned about that.
Another thing is this station will be very busy at the beginning because people are hungry and they want to eat. And then throughout the night, this will always be used, but this will be very busy at the beginning, the buffet station.
But what I need to do here?
So that will be set up midway through the night. So you'll get there around 4:30.
The water is going to be right away.
Yes. So this will be set up first. You'll have the veggies, the dipping. Water will be set up here. And throughout the night, watch if any water needs to go into the dispensers. You will not be the only one working at the buffet. Don't forget, you'll have others there with you. So it's not all on you. And then about halfway through the night, we'll be setting up the desserts and coffee. It will all be ready to go. The coffee will just need to be turned on and water poured in. And the dessert they'll have in the back, and they'll just be bringing it out to the table.
So
if when I don't have water or coffee here, I need.
You'll direct people over here. This is where that will be.
Yes. Water and coffee will only be over here in this area.
Okay.
So buffet, just food.
Just.
Do you have any questions about the layout of anything, or
No.
pretty easy?
Yeah.
So you'll be able to take this home with you. You can take another look at this if you need. But also when they set it up, they'll tell you what it all is one last time. So
This is the only one you need to know.
Okay.
The savory dipping.
never. Okay, perfect.
And okay, we want to do the next part with you. This
Folder.
Oh no, we need this.
Okay.
Okay, so the next part is just kidding. We wanted to give you some phrases that would really help to show you how you're going to be talking with people and kind of how you're going to be just for a reference. You don't have to use them, but it's good to know. So I have a couple phrases, and I would love for you to read through them. And if you have any questions, we can go through any of them.
Okay.
So again, things that you would say to like managers, guests, employees during the event, just so you would know. If you want to read through those, any questions, we can go through any of them with you.
What is rag?
Rag. Oh, towel.
Oh yeah, towel.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if the buffet is dirty, you can ask this phrase. And
Where is a pair? I'll change it to towel to make it easy. Okay, there you go.
insert food.
Oh, I didn't know what the food was gonna be, but if a guest comes up to you and asks, what's in this dipping sauce? And if you don't know, you can go to your manager and talk to them. But I didn't know what the food was.
Okay.
So pretty much any question, you just put the food that they want.
Mhm.
Oh, refilling. So the tray, when it gets below 50%, you refill it or take a tray, go to the kitchen, and get a new tray.
Okay.
Do you want me to do you have another word that would work better? No. But you get that?
So
Yeah,
just
I
always
can.
know presentation. If it's less than 50%, go to the back of the house and refill it.
Okay.
But this is just saying, since you're working with Naba, that if you notice something and you're doing a task like cleaning the buffet, asking her, this is looking empty. Do you mind taking this to the kitchen? Because you should all be equally doing the job.
You guys are working as a team.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's okay. Okay. So we just kind of want to go through some of these questions. So we're gonna do some role play situations to kind of see if you can practice these. Okay, if that's okay with you?
Okay.
All right, we're gonna stand up. Okay. We're gonna stand up. I am gonna be Matthias.
Okay.
I'm not really. And I want you to come up to me and pick a phrase or something you would say to me when you have a guest that came up to you and doesn't know what, or asks you what the food is.
What the food is?
Yeah. So remember, okay, so when a guest comes up to you, you say like, I don't know what the food is, or let me go find my manager. No.
Your manager or your like
Manager.
manager?
This would be Matthias, Anthony.
Mhm.
So, a guest came up to you. They asked you, what is in this food? What would you say?
This food is.
Or do you,
What is or what?
what?
What is this food?
Yes.
I say
Or what is in the food?
in the food. The ingredients. I know.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
ingredients. I know.
No, you're good. You don't know. So how would you say to the guest, I don't know?
I don't know.
And then what would you do?
Or what is in insect food?
Yeah. So the guest talked to you. This is the phrase you would use, saying, I don't know what is in it. Let me find my manager for you.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. And then you have to go find Matthias. Now I'm Matthias. Now what would you ask him?
Matthias?
He will know what the food is.
I don't know what is this food. How would you say?
Pretty much. I would say, do you know what is in the garbanzo beans or dipping sauce?
Oh,
So, just asking him and saying, do you know what this is? And then, so, try it one more time. So, a guest comes up to you and asks you, what is in this food?
sorry, I don't know. I asked
My
to my manager.
Yay! Awesome. Okay, and now I'm Matthias. Now,
Matthias, please help me. I don't know what inside. One moment. I don't know what is in the carbons.
Perfect.
there you go. And then, okay, third step. Now, you have to tell the guest. How do you tell the guest what Matthias tells you? Just say there's beans in them.
My manager say is onion.
Wow, okay, we have a star protege right now. Okay, now we're gonna run through one more situation. This one will be to test your knowledge of working with Naba. It'll be a little different on the night, but if you see a tray that is below 50% and you're cleaning the buffet, what would you do?
To Nava?
How would you talk to her about it? If you're cleaning and she's standing, can you help me?
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. Or
Please.
there you go. Or also also point it out saying, this tray needs to be filled with more food. Can you help me?
Okay.
Great.
Excellent.
I think she's gonna kill it.
Shoot.
If you just want to look over these, you don't have to use them, but it's a reference of what could happen.
Okay.
They're all yours too.
I need study.
Do you want to take some time now and look over them again, or?
No, that's okay. In my home, I read again the question.
We're going to the test.
No. Okay. Speaking of this, so you know how these questions, we're talking of like the manager, that would be Matthias, Anthony, or Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who they are? All of them? Well, you know who Matthias and Anthony are. And then,
But
do you know who Andrew is?
Andrew is the mom.
He's in our class.
Okay.
He was when we were standing out waiting for the room. He was the boy out there in the hat. Dark hair, bit of a beard. We'll introduce you.
Yeah.
Andrew. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It's like.
Your hair?
Yeah.
The color?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we wanted to go over the organizational chart of an employee. Do you know what an organizational chart is? If not, so okay. Essentially, this is who you would talk to if there's an issue that comes up. So you are right here. Beautiful drawing, by the way.
Thank you.
You're right here. So you would your go-to person is the front of the house manager. So that'd be Matthias. So if you have any issues, you talk to Matthias. But in your team with Naba, if you have an issue, talk with her a little bit. And then if something goes very wrong, which it won't, because you guys are going to be on top of it, you would talk to Anthony or Darby. The only other thing is that you won't work in the kitchen, but you'll have to get food from the kitchen. So you have to talk with Andrew. Okay. Yeah. So who do you talk with when there's disruption in the team?
Between the buffet attendants, who would be your first point of contact?
Nava?
No, it's higher up. Someone who is more overlooking what is happening.
So if there's an issue between you and Naba, and you can't deal with it, who would you go to?
Matthias. Exactly.
Great.
Always Matthias is going to be a big point of contact. When in doubt, go to Matthias. He will at least help you or direct you to who can.
And then if there's an issue with the food, who would you go to? Andrew.
And that can also Matthias too, who can then relay to Andrew.
Okay. Yeah. Does it make sense you go to Matthias for general stuff, and then Andrew just in case the food goes.
But Andrew food, Matthias.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right. Should we move on to our final activity?
Yes.
So next, we're gonna get out of this room a little.
We are.
We'll do that after though.
Oh.
Or we can do it now, whatever works.
No.
Okay. So I'll run one and then you run one. It's 11:05. We have 25 minutes left.
Okay.
So my challenge for you is we're gonna either walk in this building or outside until we see a stranger, someone we don't know, and I would like you to approach them in your power pose, of course, confidence, and just ask for directions.
Okay.
So it's a little simulation. This will be similar to approaching a guest. A simulation. So testing how this will be similar to you approaching a guest at the gala. So I just want you to have that confidence to approach a stranger. All you have to do is ask for, you can ask where's the library or something. But we'll be with you too, so.
Okay.
You'll be fine.
Yeah,
You are already really good at all of this. You've got great English. You know the buffet really well.
Alright, so.
What is the table? In the buffet.
The buffet table.
Where is the simulation?
Is just going to be with personal interactions with the person. So, are you okay to carry the computer? Or we can pause it? Okay, so our final step of the training process is we made a quick questionnaire with a few questions. Feel free to ask us if any don't make sense, but if you can take some time and fill it out. We have about 10 minutes left, so take your time and just you can write down a few answers, or if you'd rather discuss it, we can go either way. But maybe read through them all, see if you have any questions. You can write down a few.
If I don't understand this question.
The first one. So, at what point do you know to refill a tray on the buffet? So when does it show that it needs to be refilled? When does it look like?
Can I translate?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. I love this translation. It's so cool.
Yeah.
How did?
Did it work?
I need write or talk.
Writing would be great.
If you wouldn't mind just writing a point, and then at the end we're gonna discuss them. So when do you know to refill a tray on the buffet?
Oh.
Maybe a number.
Do you remember? Do you want us to show you the picture?
This rack.
Oh, no. When do you fill the tray?
Tray.
Yeah, the buffet tray.
A tray of food.
When don't have food in the tower.
Yep. What's the number we gave you?
I think is what is the moment? What is the moment when you need put food again?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
When the rat is when the rat don't have food.
No.
So we're gonna when it's 50% or less.
Remember that?
So the question was getting at when do you know to refill a tray of food? So Emily will bring out the picture.
Oh,
Should this have been filled a little bit ago? It's
Yeah.
yes. So when it's 50%.
I need food 50%.
Yep.
When
So remember, whenever a tray is 50% or less filled with food, you should bring it to the back of the house and refill.
Do you wanna write that on this picture? These are all yours. Do you wanna write that?
Mm-hmm.
Just so you remember, because that's probably one of the most important.
So we can
Thanks.
write 50%.
Okay.
So half.
Half. You need food again. Food.
Half
Mhm.
full.
And and the same table or other table?
The same
Same
tray? Yes.
The
yes,
same?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll talk through a few. So
Yeah.
the next one is, what should you do if you see a piece of food in the dipping sauce? So you're at the buffet, someone dropped a carrot in the hummus.
No.
What would you do?
Clean.
Clean it, exactly. What would be a safe way to get the carrot out? Do you reach your hand in there? No.
How would you clean?
Yeah, I clean. What is the
A glove.
glove?
Perfect.
Yes.
That's exactly what we're getting at. So, first, as you'll learn in CFAS, and safely put on a glove, remove it. It'll be clean that way.
Okay.
Perfect. All right, next question. I want you to stand up and show me this. What position should you stand in while at the buffet? Perfect. Great smile. Power
There you
pose.
go.
Oh, that's excellent.
We have a
Who do you report to with a question? Who do you go ask?
My manager,
Who's your manager?
Matthias.
Exactly.
Depend maybe Anthony, or if about the food, Andrew.
Excellent. What are two phrases you can use to talk with guests? Let's give her a scenario. So, a guest comes up to you and asks, what should they ask?
A guest is just grabbing food at the buffet.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? Yeah.
We call that small talk. So,
Yeah.
hello.
Hello.
Do you like the food? Are you having a good night? Small talk. Just casually interacting with guests.
So, can you give us two phrases that you would say to guests?
Okay. Hello. Do you like the food? How are your night? Good.
Yeah.
Perfect. With that smile too. That's what we want.
Smile is contagious.
And now, what are two phrases you can talk to with fellow employee or
what
your
is
manager.
phrase?
Phrases like these questions. These are phrases,
Things you say.
like words or sentences. It's the same question as this one, but what would you say to employees and managers? So say you were
Do you need help?
there you go.
Perfect.
That's a great one actually. We didn't really go over that one. But sometimes you'll be at the buffet working, but at the end of the night, the buffet won't be there most likely. It'll be cleaned up. So one of the things is being flexible and talking with Matthias or Anthony. Is there anything else I could do for you? And you figure that out on your own.
No understand.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, so the buffet will be will be used at the very beginning, but at the end, a lot of people won't want to get food. So you'll help clean up the buffet. Once that's done, I don't know when it'll happen, but you have to go up to Matthias or Anthony and say, "Can I help you with anything?"
What is my this?
Yeah.
What should do next?
Yeah.
What should do next?
Exactly.
Do you understand that, or do you want me to explain it a little bit more?
No, I understand now.
Okay, great.
Well, congratulations! You went through our
Sorry
training.
for my first
No, you're
my first
fine.
question.
No,
We forget sometimes.
you did wonderful. Any general questions about the night now or training? Anything on your mind?
No.
I know there's a lot we gave you today, but you can always look over this stuff. It's a one night thing.
I think.
And you have our phone number, so tonight if you call us if you think of anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's about that time,
Okay.
and you
Can
can
I-
keep this folder.